today that make me feel better about it.
Now, going back to that latest motion from Kevin Goff regarding the presence of certain figures inside of the courtroom, he did file now a written motion. That's new because starting on Thursday when he first started raising these on the record with the court, he was doing them verbally, and the judge did tell him, first of all, that the motion was denied because he has already ruled as far as the court that this is a public court and he can't bar someone from it just because of their status in the community. But ultimately, Kevin Goff today did file that motion, so the judge said he's going to review it, review the case law, and take it under advisement. We may hear that tomorrow morning, Benny.
Meanwhile, his client, Ronnie Bryant, testified today, not in front of the jury, but relative to a speedy trial motion. How did all of that turn?
This seemed to be a big deal because we have not heard from Roddy Bryant, really any of the defendants when they are sitting there in the courtroom. But we learned during this motions argument at the end of the day, after the state rested, that this issue of a speedy trial demand that Bryant's attorney filed for him after he was arrested May 21st of 2020, they wanted to have a quick trial in this case. And we heard Goff say that on the record in interviews, that he wanted the first 12 jurors in Glenn County to go ahead with this trial. And ultimately, the judge ruled on it in June and said, look, in Georgia, the Supreme Court had determined that this was suspended. Speedy trial right was suspended because of the pandemic and the COVID-19 restrictions. But it was raised again today, a motion for reconsideration. And as part of that, he had to address the court, Brian did, just to talk about the harm that he had suffered while being in jail because of his lack of a speedy trial. Take a listen.
Can you describe for the court your daily routine over the past 18 months, approximately 18 months, 17 months?
Well, it's, as you know, the last 3 weeks we've been here, but before that, it's you get up at 5 o'clock, try to get your breakfast. You have a certain hour that you come out a day, so I'm locked down for 23 hours other than that.
Well, let's talk about that. Are you telling the court that you've basically been in lockdown or solitary confinement for the entire time you've been incarcerated?
For the most part, yes, sir.
And by that, you're telling the court that you spend 23 hours a day in individual cells.
That's correct.
You don't have a bunkmate.
No.
Brian said he's been in medical isolation at some point of his confinement and that he's had no other visits from anyone other than his attorney. He speaks to his family and friends over a monitor system. The outcome of that, Benny, is that the judge did deny that motion for reconsideration. So the speedy trial demand issue goes away at this point as far as this court is concerned.
Okay, and tomorrow the defense case begins.
Defense case begins with